Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the WeGro AMA. We're here on August 31st, 2022. We're so glad that you've joined us from around the world. We're coming to you from coast to coast in the US and in every continent under the sun. And we're here to give you an update on all that is near and dear, new and exciting at WeGro. I'm going to introduce our team. First of all, I'm Todd Dechter. I head up our operations and relationship management for the company. And I'm so proud to introduce our co-founder and the president and CEO of WeGro Data, Sean Crawford.
WeGro Coin. Yeah.
WeGro Coin. It's all the same. It's the WeGro.
It is.
That's right. Thank you so much. Also here to introduce our co-founder of WeGro Coin and our chief experience officer, Walt Rampata.
Hi, everybody.
Our CEO, co-founder, Rick Gilchrist. Our Director of Education and Philanthropy, Mr. Joe Brown.
Everybody, thank you, Todd.
And our Director of Marketing, you're very welcome, Joe. Our Director of Marketing, Abby Sklar, who is running the whole show behind the scenes. Welcome, Abby. So today, we're very excited. We have some updates, and first we're going to take care of a little housekeeping, as we typically do. Being that the statements, opinions, and analyses presented in today's AMA are provided as general information only. They're merely a current snapshot. And anything in today's disposition or that which we report are subject to change without notice. All of the information is intended to be 100% accurate. And while that is true, there are certain discrepancies that potentially could take place, so the presenters and hosts make no express guarantee as to completeness, accuracy, or the information shared. As such, everything in today's broadcast should be construed as not forward-looking or pursuant to any projected earnings, profits, or investment advice for making buying decisions. And with that said, we're very excited to get started, everybody. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Walt Rampata. Walt, take it away, sir.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's been just about 4 weeks since our last AMA, so we're happy to have you back and joining us. As expected, the team at WeGro has been feverishly working to drive the bus and launch the company forward. And we've had a lot of really great things happening in the background that we're excited to share with you about today. As per usual, I feel like I say this every time, our AMA is going to be a little different today. So I don't even really know that we've got a norm at this point, because I feel like every time we're switching it up on you. But today's AMA specifically, we are going to spend some time highlighting some of the key team members that we've added to our team. We think it's demonstrative of the team that we've already assembled and demonstrative of where we're heading. Additionally, we are going to talk a little bit about, actually a good bit about, the state of affairs, where the market is currently. It's been an interesting summer, to say the very least. And we've got Sean Crawford, who's going to talk a good bit about where we're sitting, where things are looking, what we're seeing, and kind of give you an update from the pilot seat, so to speak. And then lastly, we're going to touch on some of the new programs that we've been working through, namely Power Hour. So Joe's going to touch on some of the great stuff that's going on with Power Hour. And then lastly, we'll wrap up and call it a day. So with that, I want to touch on, I've actually got a slide prepared I'm going to show everybody, because I think it's easier to talk to the slide and give us something so that the rest of the team can rally around it. So hopefully everybody's seeing my screen now. I want to take some time and give everybody an update as to some of the team members that we're adding. And specific to our advisors and stakeholders at an advisory or board level for WeGro Coin, WeGro Data, and our whole entire organization. We're really excited by some of the names that we've got on this list. We're more than anything enamored that we're getting a chance to actually work with some of these individuals. They've got an illustrious past and an illustrious career and accomplishments in and of their own rights. And And the fact that they're jumping in with us makes us proud, to say the very least. So without further ado, let me touch on some of the key names that I can talk about. One of the things that you're going to notice on this slide is that there's a few placeholders that have been eradicated, for lack of a better term. We've left them blank, only to show you that those people do exist. They're on our team, but today, in a public fashion, we're not allowed to talk too much about who they are or what their involvement is. But rest assured that akin to the rest of the names that I'm about to talk to you about, they hold similar stature and similar weight in their own careers and their own accomplishments. So without further ado, I want to tell you about Don Lavoie. Man, we're excited to have him as a part of the team. You may have seen something announced about him within the recent weeks about his being added to our team. And Don has an incredible past. There's no way to sugarcoat it. He's accomplished a lot. For starters, many people may not know this, but he spent 20 years at Xerox. He was the man behind growing that company in many ways, from a very small organization to a very large powerhouse. He was the father in many ways of desktop publishing to that regard, and was instrumental in many ways how we use technology today in a corporate setting. His thought process, his strategies, and how he saw business and use cases very much plays into how business today is informed. And in some respects, and he's had an impact in all of our lives. Don was the original brains behind what later became known as the FICO score. It was originally the consumer credit rating number that was assigned to people as they were looking to get bank loans or apply for cars or things, car loans or things like that. It later morphed into what we know today as the FICO score, and it was his brain that had a heavy touch on what the mechanics of that are and how it came together. And then additionally, he's no slouch when it comes to his accomplishments. He's had two over $1 billion exits. Most recently, within the last month, was one of them closed. You might know of him from Lower My Bills, which later was purchased by Experian, and then again, kind of some of the reference to the FICO score in there. And he was also the former president of Westech. So again, we're very excited to have him as a part of our team. He's not only just an accomplished business person and illustrious individual, but he's one heck of a great guy, and we really enjoy working with him. Next to him, you're going to notice Kostas Steratopoulos. He is the medical director for the Institute of National Pain and Spine. In fact, you know what? I'm going to hand the mic over to Rick for just a brief moment, because Rick has a long relationship with Dr. Steratopoulos, and I think it'd be better if you give us a little bit more color on his background.
If Costa is actually listening in, he would cringe at your pronunciation of his last name. But I'm sure he's used to it by now. But Costa Soteropoulos, he's been a classically trained doctor. He's also been a part of National Pain and Spine as both a partner and their medical director, back even when it was originally part of just the DC Metro practice itself. So he is now part of not only the pain management and pain management specialty, but also the alternative medicine therapies that are now being used for treatment of pain. He has a very vested interest in the CAM space, specifically for treatments that are not normally used for pain management. Not to go too deep into these, but there have been some rapid advancements in using other treatments like ketamine and other plant-based medicines in addition to psychedelics. Those are something that they're seeing some touching around the adoption level on the payer-payee side of things, and where a lot of doctors are very intent on being able to solve a patient's problems. Not a lot of insurance companies or payers are intent on reimbursing for things like that. So the data that's surrounding all of this, as well as what's happening with the FDA, with a lot of the pain products that are being used, the therapies, in addition to the what's being practiced, becomes even more important when we talk about data valuation, who's buying data, who's using the data, and how we substantiate these research and clinical trials. I'm really excited to have Costa aboard, but he is a coin holder, and he's actually also an investor in our company as well. So he's got a very vested interest across the board as a true advisor and stakeholder in WeGro.
Thank you for that, Rick. And again, apologies for the butchering of Costa's last name. I continually do it. And without further ado, I'm also going to talk about Dr. David Koenig. Dr. D, as many of us are so lovely and enamored to call him, has an established reputation in the CAM space in and of his own right. He's got an illustrious career as a financial advisor. He is the CEO of UCS Advisors, and we work closely with them on a day-to-day basis as we're going through researching the future of our organization. He's a 7-time CAM entrepreneur. He's had a number of businesses in the complementary and alternative medicine space. So he's traversed the challenges. He's run into the roadblocks. He's run into the issues that many of the CAM operators in the marketplace today face. And he's well versed in how to work around them and the resources to help solve them. And then additionally, he is an accomplished healthcare professional in and of his own right. For a number of years, he's been a practicing physical therapist and a doctor in New Jersey, and has a flourishing patient practice there, in addition to everything that he does in assisting WeGro. So Dr. D has been a great addition to our team. He's with us on a number of our trips and conferences and conventions. And we really love having him a part of everything that we're doing, and we're excited for where the future goes with D. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic back to Mr. Decter to push us through the rest of the program.
Good.
I'll take off screen sharing.
Well, we have several updates that we want to share with you today, and it pertains to the evolution of where we started with the coin and where Sean and his leadership is taking us. And so, Sean, I would like to, if you could bring us up to speed on the latest and greatest as our digital asset has weathered the storm and maintained the course through a very tumultuous season. And we don't say that lightly. We've been very blessed to maintain the course. So, Sean, if you don't mind showing us, demonstrating what that looks like right now.
Oh, I'd like to say that we owe a lot of that to our holders and the people that believe in WeGro, the team here, and all the hard work that they've been doing to push this forward and to have digital assets that really do change things that come out of this. And yeah, so a lot of that again goes to all you guys. So thanks so much for that. So yeah, and I think that's kind of the name of the game, is weathering the storm. A lot of where we're at right now is very similar to where the market was in 2017. I mean, from my point of view, from my vantage point, what I see, again, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research. But from what I've seen, a lot of the things, a lot of the patterns that I'm seeing are very similar to that of 2017. And it was like about a year later, it was end of 2017, beginning in 2018, about a year and a few months later, Smart Chain was back off to a new all-time high. And maybe that's what we have in store, right now. From what I see, it looks like we're doing a lot of sideways trading, and we will be, and possibly descending a little bit, and then but things are looking up for the market as a whole. And I think you got to ask yourself, do you believe in cryptocurrency? Do you believe that there's going to be more adopters, that the use case of not only the market itself, but what we're doing? How's that going to translate to where we see WeGro going. So, you know, I feel pretty positive about everything. We're definitely going a good direction, and we will be here to weather the storm, no matter how many hits we, or as market as a whole, take. We will continue to push forward. So, so just some updates on digital assets. The buy now button, we have been, we're through all of the parts that we have to do through our integration of the API integration with the back end with our banking partner. We've had some challenges there because some of this is new to them as well. They're a very forward group, forward looking and able to take on this, where other banks might see this as too risky, or they're too risk adverse to take on this type of investment. We do have some really great banking partners that are pushing forward with it, and the roadblocks that we did hit had to really kind of fell back on us, where we have to put capital towards it, and we have to put a little bit more resources to it to get this over the finish line. But the good news is it's up and running. We are working out the final parts of the back end right now, which actually has opened the door up to a lot more opportunities to integrate this with other partners that we've been talking to, so that are looking for the same type of onboarding. So again, this is a crypto onboarding solution for those of you not familiar with the buy now button. This is a Google Chrome plugin that is going to allow you to onboard using debit card, credit card, banking, ACH. We're looking to have that integration as well, which would really answer the problems of crypto onboarding in terms of onshore solution that the card actually goes through. And aside from whatever your bank's policies are, at least our bank's policy would be to complete that transaction. And so that's what we were looking for, and that's what we found with our partner. So we are building out a solution that will allow you to onboard with those without the limits as well that might get put on you for. And obviously you have the banking ACH limits, but a little bit larger amount than what you can do with a credit card or a debit card. So
I think it's indicative, Sean, of the fact that 2022 has really been the year of transition. Coming out of that which is considered the anomaly, or and some might call it the redhead stepchild in the basement, and it's probably even longer than 2022. But as we look towards 2023, these conversations will cease. We'll see it be very common stock, very, very normal for anybody wishing to construe a transaction with any payment option of their choice. And that also speaks to our utility, Sean, and it speaks to the sustainable business plan that we've been articulating on our AMAs, everybody, for the last 9 months. And we're very, very excited that when we talk about Web 3.0, and when we see all of the strides with the partnerships and the technology builds, all of this is really getting to a place of a level playing field. And on that note, I know our new director of education, Joe Brown, has done a fabulous job keeping his finger on the pulse of all that has become really mainstream. And Joe, I know you've been very good at providing some market insights for us over the course of the last few weeks. Maybe you could share some of those mainstream events and how you've been helping to educate and propagate our marketplace and the placeholders within WeGro.
Yeah, I think, thank you, first of all, Todd. And I think there's a lot of positive and bullish signs that we see out there. And that's one of the important things to look at as we're in the quote unquote crypto winter. It's important to look for those bullish signs that we continue to see. So just yesterday, I saw that the largest bank in Japan is one of the major investors in a Web3 project. You see Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, all of these financial institutions making large investments in crypto and blockchain. So when you see those things and you see Warren Buffett and all these people that had previously spoke out against crypto, now investing in it. And to me, whenever I see financial institutions and countries investing in crypto, I know that that's a positive sign. So to continue holding and looking for projects that have taken this opportunity to create more utility are the things that I really look at for me to be passionate about. So you look at team, you look at utility, and you find those. And jumping ahead a little bit, we've created a new newsletter that Abby has done a great job of putting together. And we share some of those weekly, we look for 3 weekly insights that are providing a very bullish sign of things for the future and things happening in the marketplace, as well as a coin corner, we're going to be calling it, where we'll get insights from Sean or Steve, another member of our team, about some WeGro centric items going on too. So there's going to be a lot of exciting components of that newsletter for us to be on the lookout for. So Abby at WeGroData.com is a way that you can sign up for it, or you go to our website, WeGroCoin.com. You can sign up for the newsletter and become a subscriber right there.
Thanks for that, Joe. And speaking of expansion, I know, Sean, you've been leading efforts with a couple of international opportunities. So what's happening domestically is also propagating throughout the globe in the midst of this crypto winter. It's very exciting. So Joe, thank you for that. And Sean, thank you for your leadership as you've helped chart the course for WeGro Coin. It's been no easy task, and yet here we are maintaining a very stable and level percentage of holders, I believe. And keep me honest, Sean, Rick as well, Walt, I think we're at 85% retention for holders. I think we've grown our social media following by at least 20 or 30,000 over the last 3 months. And we haven't had any dips that have been larger than 10 to 12% over the course of the last 5 months. So those are all contrary to what the rest of our peers and those that we would even relatively compare to WeGro are experiencing. Yes?
We launched at a kind of a interesting time in the market, I should say, kind of right at the end of the bull run as things are starting to wind down. We had the launch, and that's that's our window. That's what we had to do in order to make this all work. That's when we had the launch. And but yeah, it's definitely in contrary to what a lot of other projects have seen, and that just really speaks testament to the holders. And I hope that this communication and the AMAs and the communication by our marketing team gives enough face and enough updates to keep people to keep them updated about what the new developments in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to pass the mic on to Rick. If you could give us an update on the intersection between WeGro's utility and how we're evolving on our own level 2 hybrid blockchain, and how that supports the WeGro business plan and maybe some of the development that we've seen, the positive development with many partners as we're approaching Q4. Rick, take it away.
Sure. One thing to be really clear is the great thing about what we've done with the launch and the fork and the marketing and the community around WeGro Coin is that it didn't serve a singular purpose. It actually served to be more, had a grander purpose and created a proof of concept that allowed us to, build on those successes. You just mentioned, our holder base at 85%. Well, I was happy with 80%. I was happy with 60%, but now we're at 85%. We have on total 90% full engagement. Only 10% that's, coming in and out, not really attached to the project themselves. What does that do for us? Well, it substantiates the fact that we not only have a community, but the fact that that community will use this for the utility it was intended for. What is that in this case? That is the ability to transact and be able to use it as a data transportation vehicle. Simply put, we're going to be able to enable not only the data sovereignty for the consumer-facing application, but also having that infrastructure in place that becomes agnostic for not only the WeGro coin, but other projects that would be symbiotic with what we're working on. So in effect, we're able to offer something that's going to be scalable. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to run anywhere between the 30,000 and 140,000 transactions per second, super fast, with much, much cheaper fees associated with that. You know, I've seen the videos of, let's see what's faster at the point of sale, Visa or Bitcoin, you know, because everybody's worried about how fast it's going to work. And I'll tell you, what we're seeing out there is the loops in the system. You know, people saying that, oh, we can use this. Well, we've partnered with one of the few companies that's doing this right now at point of sale in the CAM industry. And we already know what the capabilities are. We know how fast that can run. And with the existing framework, it's not scalable. Being able to provide that scalable solution that's 15 times faster than Visa and MasterCard, it's not only attainable, it's something that we've already been able to prove that can be done. So being able to roll this out in a very systematic approach with our current phase 1 of rolling this out in California for 3 dispensaries, that is something that's just super exciting to us, because without marketing, the company we've partnered with, they're already doing transactions. They're transacting in Ethereum. Walt, I believe it's also Poly as well. They've got multiple options, but now WeGro is going to be in this wallet. WeGro will be able to be transacted. WeGro will be able to be held. And if you're a holder of WeGro, you know that just by holding that, you're also getting those reflections. You're able to look at this as the loyalty program we always promise we provide. So you're able to use that loyalty and the transaction at that dispensary, get paid for it, and use those reflections to fill up your gas tank, go to the grocery store, you know, or use it directly there at point of sale where you're already using it. So it's extremely exciting, because not only are we going to see a larger adoption of WeGro to transact in the manner we intended to in the first place, but come to us with your Bitcoin, come to us with your Ethereum. You know, there's room for all of this out there. So you're going to be able to get the products you want. You're going to be able to use your credit card. You're going to be able to have a seamless process that you're familiar with, and the assurity that there is something that is properly tracking, logging, and creating compliance around an industry that's been begging for it for years.
All very, very positive. And to boot, the parent company, WeGro Data, is literally in the midst of being able to accomplish several solutions that, going back to the baseline of our utility, is see data as it is. Have data stand in an immutable environment, which is the blockchain, which that's the essence of the blockchain when we think of Web 3.0, Rick. And so that whether you're a CAM business, or whether you're a Fortune 500 company, or whether you're a 5-location startup distribution company that's expanding throughout the United States, or offshore, having the ability to have transparency for state regulatory, for compliance as it pertains to licensing, as it pertains to any industry. Think of real estate, think of all the intellectual property elements and components that we live by and depend on a daily basis. The blockchain, really, we're in the year 1998, 99, as it pertains to the comparison to where the internet was in its infancy. And we're right now about to see the migration, right now about to see that which happened in Web 2.0, where companies were going from the closet to the cloud as it pertains to data and virtualized infrastructure. Now we're seeing that second migration. Can you expound upon that, Rick?
Well, I'd say it's actually the third migration in the fourth industrial revolution at this point, because the reality is that we went from Web 1.0, which is presenting of information, to Web 2.0,
Mhm.
That's that interaction. Now we're at Web 3.0, and that's where data sovereignty takes over. You're absolutely right when you're talking about that inflection point, and we're at that. To use another euphemism, that juxtaposition of the consumer, the patient, the business, and these organizations that are interacting and laying claim to their own data. And this is where making sure that you have some kind of ubiquitous platform in which to operate becomes vastly more important. The other thing is that you can't look at this as if we're creating one operating system to rule them all. This is one operating system to work with all of them.
Yes.
We look at the fact that what's currently out there is not scalable. We know it's not scalable. Organizations are spending millions on digital transformation to do this, and they're getting something that's very limited. By providing a hybrid system, we're able to solve multiple problems of not only data sovereignty between business to business and business to consumer, and business to consumer and patient, but we're able to black box that kind of data. So whether you're talking about PHI or specifically healthcare information for an individual, PII, the personally identifiable information, we're able to do this without even seeing the data ourselves. We end up being a shuttle, if you will, to allow the consumer and the business to share that data. So we get to keep our hands off of it too. So it's not like we see the data. And that's something that's going to be very key as you look at what's being offered in the next few years. When you're signing up and you see that data and privacy security policy, your end user license agreement, you see how your data is being used and managed. We go back to the conversation 4 weeks ago with Apple and Facebook revising their terms when it comes to your own personal device and having to re-enable it with the express consent of knowing how your data is being used and where it's going and how it's being accessed. So to put it in a very simple manner, the operating system or the blockchain that we're able to offer as a blockchain as a service will serve in that capacity on a very minimal level, all the way up to a very scalable, detailed, complex level that includes business logic. And that's really where the challenge is for organizations that don't know if they can take advantage of blockchain as a service, is that business logic. Whether you're talking about a clinic, you're talking about a retail location, you're talking about an organization that just wants to be able to transact in their own mobile app. It'll be able to offer all of those capabilities. But that doesn't mean WeGro Data has to build all those applications. We build the operating system for those applications to be built on.
Yes. In essence, we become the transfer and storage agent with transparency.
But I wouldn't use the word agent, but I would say that we become the framework in which to operate.
The conduit, yes. And to your point, when you
And I don't say that because that's a very where you're looking at CFPB and the regulations around financial services and money transfer. The word agent's a no word.
I understood, and I was using that in the pure elementary form, but no, thank you for that correction. The way I look at it is if anybody who's a layman watching this AMA tonight, anytime, we basically create a vehicle that is, like you said, Rick, ubiquitous, and that can shape change based upon the need of the client. And if that data is immutable and the data is static, then it creates a safe haven. We become the bank, if you will, to use an analogy, not literal. And so that's what's so exciting, is that having the ability to provide governance and compliance and the ability to track and trace is something that right now that all companies, all enterprises with every industry and every vertical strives to achieve. And so it makes us more valuable.
If I could, your words are quite eloquent when you talk about it like this. And I don't want our audience to think that we're talking in platitudes, because we're simply not. No. Even though we talk about this very aspirationally, we have the practical detail that's already laid out. Where we've talked about the technology that we've previously forked. We've talked about the baseline technology from Hyperledger itself, We've also discussed the interoperability with the integration of Corda and the other different programming languages that we're going to be able to integrate with. Software development kits. We are live with our own CRM and data application at this point too. We're in the process of debugging that. And we're looking at 4 applications that are stood up in the last 10 months, if you will, that really only accelerated in the last 90 days. And all of those will have that connection directly into that blockchain that'll be able to exist with on-chain and off-chain data, creating that scalable environment. Because a lot of people think, hey, I got to store everything on the blockchain. God, no, I hope not. I mean, what you want to do is store the important data. What should be on-chain versus off-chain? And it goes back to us defining the business logic and doing real customer development with the early adopters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not going to render the VMwares of the world or the Amazon Web Services as obsolete or moot. In fact, it's just going to enhance the relationships that companies have with those entities. But this is the utility that we've been talking about, folks, for the entire year. And we're getting to the commercialization stage, bottom line, as Rick eloquently articulated. And Walt and his team is currently crafting and has been crafting, and we're actually launching several messaging campaigns and the ability to expand the brand. Do you want to anything that Walt, maybe talk to us about what you have in the wings?
Sure. Thank you, Todd. Thanks for that setup. Yeah, as per usual, and as per all the other things we've told you on this AMA thus far, it's been a busy few weeks since we last spoke to you guys, specifically inside the marketing team. We've done a lot over the last number of months. You may have noticed some changes, specifically in our social channels. So we've been working diligently to fine-tune the messaging, for lack of a better term, so that it's more in line with what the community is looking to receive, at a cadence the community is open to, and on subjects that you're looking to hear about. So that being the case, you'll notice initially some of the most easily recognizable changes in our social communities. So please, if you haven't already joined our social communities, please do so. And to Joe's earlier point, if you want to join us for our Power Hour, please reach out to Abby, as he had already noted, or simply go to our website. There's a link on our website where you can click to sign up for our newsletter. And if you want that information, that's another aspect of some of the things that we've been working on, is the newsletters. There's a whole slew of specific messages that we've created and are creating for our particular audiences. Some people are relatively new to the crypto universe, and so our information is geared specifically to those quote unquote newbies. Some of our audience is seasoned vets, industry pros, people that have been doing this for a little bit of time, and so we have a very specific communication that goes to them. Quite frankly, both of those audiences might be interested in each other's information, but at the end of the day, understanding it and comprehending it and digesting it is something that is better for, directed at those correct audiences. So we've done a lot in focusing the messaging and reaching out and having touch points, additional touch points with our community, so that we can hear from you and you can hear from us. So social, email, we've got some more things happening in the background. We've got some press releases that will be forthcoming this fall. Very excited. We're alluding to some of the additions to our team today. Obviously, we had a few more in there we want to talk about. And then even to Rick's point, there's some technical and developmental product related announcements that we're getting ready to unleash on the commercial populace. And so that said, you're going to see some press releases in the not too distant future supporting all of this. And like that being the case, you can tell there's a lot of things that we're doing to get the word out and in front of you and keep you informed and keep you as up to date as to where WeGro is in the mix, how we're progressing along, how we're tracking against the market, how we're tracking against the things that we've said we would do, namely our roadmap and things like that. So also check out our websites over the next couple of weeks. We're doing some things to fine tune and rejigger the websites, essentially give them a quick update or a spring cleaning in some fashion. We know that there's some information that is a little bit dated, essentially, on our websites, and it's simply because we're moving so fast. There's so much happening at WeGro that it's sometimes difficult for us to stop it and say, okay, let's make sure everybody knows where we are. So that being the case, we want to make sure you do, and we're working through some updates to our websites that will reflect the current state of affairs, where we're tracking. And on that note, some of the recent additions to our website you will immediately notice is a blog section. We've got some great writers on staff. I'm going to point to a few of them on screen. It's hard because with the Brady Bunch pictures on here, where everybody's located based on how you're seeing it. But Joe Brown has been a fantastic author of some of our more recent articles. I know Sean has written a recent article that we're going to have on our blog. So keep an eye out on our blog. And the thing about our blog articles, I'll tell you straight up, is that they are really focused on helping you understand some of the nuances and bringing comfort in some respects to your thought processes, giving you things to think about and understanding how to potentially look at things in a different light. Not necessarily instructions per se. We're never going to tell you what to do, but we want to give you all the information to make informed decisions on your own. And so with that, our blog is really focused on bringing that comfort to our audience and to our holder community, so they understand some of our thinking and some of the things to be looking for as we progress forward. And I feel like I've hogged the mic for a good bit here. As you can tell, there's a lot happening in marketing, and a lot of it's you're seeing or you will see in the very near future. So keep your eyes out. And if you haven't joined our communities, please do so.
Absolutely. No, well, you haven't hogged it at all. Your modesty precedes you. We're so excited because there's also so much happening on enterprise level. As Rick talked about, the problems we're solving on the blockchain. We're trying to align the planets with Walt's messaging and Joe's education and Rick's leadership on the technology and finance side, so that when we do see the full circle happen between what's happening with WeGro Coin and what's happening as the evolution of WeGro data takes place, it will all be in perfect balance. It will be the WeGro ecosystem, if you will. And Walt, I can't agree with you more about Joe and Abby and the terrific job they're doing. I've attended a couple of the power hours, and folks, if you haven't been there yet, what they do is they do a really great job, and this is from a layman's vantage point, of demystifying and taking out the confusion. And there's so much, there's so many smart people in the world of traditional investment, but when you attend these power hours, it really allows one to understand how safe, simple, and easy it is to not just invest or put a holding in WeGro, but to understand just the dynamics of the marketplace, history, present, future. So Joe, keep doing what you're doing. Abby, thank you so much. We're almost out of time. Did you want to comment on that, Joe, and talk about what you and Abby are doing with the Power Hour to close us out today?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. And I think to your point, we try to help and show that it can be safe, it can be easy, but at the same time, alert people to the pitfalls that are out there, the things they have to watch out for, those type of things, because when you're new, you don't know what you don't know. So we want to help people. And as Walt mentioned, we're kicking off the Power Hour again. We're going to be revamping it. We've done some trial runs. So we're going to be starting it back up. September 20th is going to be our first one. It's going to be at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be really building out the beginning, more basic level programming and expand upon that in a little bit greater detail, because it is more complicated. So it may take more than just one session. But the one thing that we do offer is this time now we're going to let people sign up for the Power Hours one time. We're going to be running 3 to 4 class sessions each session, but you only have to sign up once. You don't have to try to find the link to sign up each time. But the thing that it's going to be doing is if you still have extra help and you need extra help, I'm going to be available anytime people need one-on-one sessions, whether they want to buy crypto, learn how to start a wallet, or just follow up. And the other piece that Abby and I are going to be doing, we're going to be putting out some general education videos, some crypto terminology 101. We were just talking about putting up something for crypto taxes. You know, that's something that even the savvy investor may not know. And some of those things and rules are changing daily as we speak, depending. And I'm sure that as adoption becomes more formal, there will also be greater changes in those laws that we'll keep you apprised of. So we'll continue to offer crypto, blockchain, all your service needs, but also provide education for all of those people who want to know from beginning to the savvy investor.
Thanks, Joe. That's fantastic. So much to look forward to. Thanks for making it easy to understand. Abby, as well, you've been such a great host on those series. Well, on that note, I think we're about to wrap it up, unless Sean, did you have any final comments, Walt or Rick, on what's happening down the road in the world of WeGro?
Yeah, none that wouldn't take us past our the hour. But lots to come. You know, guys, we're working hard every day to get some of these programs up and running, and the ecosystem expanded. Obviously, we're working on the wallet. We're working on you know, finishing out the buy now button, the onboarding, and some partnerships that we have in integration and expansion, and some really cool stuff. We got actually meetings on the calendar today about some really far-reaching possibilities with I can't say, but it's great. So
Love it. Thank you, Sean. Walt?
Yeah, I don't know that I can add to that. You know, that's a great way to build the excitement. As per usual, we're going to leave you hanging. We're going to tell you that there's a lot happening, but you got to come back to the next AMA to find out exactly what it was. So please come back.
Absolutely. And Rick, our CEO, you have any final thoughts? And
I can only echo the excitement that we all have for what's coming down the pipeline. I can't wait to reveal when the other advisors and the other individuals that have joined the team, and the pilot programs that are about to launch are just, they're super exciting, and people will have a bigger opportunity to work with and actually take advantage of what they've taken part in for the last 10 months. So I can't say that enough, that all your patience has paid off. So thank you for the support.
thanks, Rick. Sounds like the enterprise footprint has begun.
Indeed.
We're seeing the first clients, what we call the early adopters, and then eventually the first adopters. And we're under NDA with almost everybody on a pipeline that has literally 47 companies that are itching to jump on our blockchain, and those that are off chain that are, as Rick just alluded to, that are launching pilot programs. So with that said, we look forward to seeing you at the end of September. And we plan to see you also at the end of October. And then we'll have some kind of send off and holiday greeting before we enter the new year. And I think Abby is about to wrap us up in the background, our producer. So we want to thank you so much for being with us here today at the AMA here on August 31st, 2022. Watch Selena win tonight at the US Open. And with that said, we wish you nothing but blessings to your day and into your future. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night.